Hi, thank you for helping us find out more about river health. Welcome to the Project Ripple Effect video, how to do river water testing. We're going to show you how to test water temperature, conductivity, ammonia and phosphate. Before you leave home, make sure you have all the water quality test kit with you. So this is 2 pairs of gloves, the little white bucket, a piece of rope if you need it to collect water in the bucket, the syringe and cap, the conductivity and temperature meter, the ammonia kit box and the phosphate kit box, a little cloth to wipe the test tubes with, a small plastic bag like an old cereal packet bag or a dog poo bag, and kitchen towel. In the ammonia kit box there should be a yellow checker, 2 test tubes with caps, 2 reagent bottles and an instruction leaflet. In the phosphate kit box there should be a green checker, 2 test tubes and caps, a reagent sachets, scissors and a cap and an instruction leaflet. And also remember to take with you your leaflet, the step-by-step guide to water quality testing.
When you arrive on your site, you need to record details in the app relating to the questions that we've asked you. So things like what's the weather like, what's the time of day, if there's a pollution runoff. Just make sure that you take note of those when you arrive at your site. The first thing that you need to do is to put gloves on. So we have some here. You and the person that you're travelling out with will get a pair of these. Next we need to collect our water and wash the equipment. If the bank is too steep, you can tie a piece of rope to this handle and just lower it into the river to collect your water. You need to fill your bucket 3 times and then empty it. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then you can collect for your sample. Now, you need to make sure that there's not too much sediment in the bucket, so try not to fill it with leaves, algae, or soil. Next, you need to wash your syringe, so just fill that and empty it 3 times again. You can empty water directly onto the ground, but just make sure that once you begin testing, you're not emptying anything with reagent out into the river or onto the ground. So now that we have our bucket of water, we're going to actually start testing. We want to take readings for temperature and conductivity with 1 meter, phosphates with another, and ammonia with the 3rd meter. We're going to start with testing the temperature and conductivity. You can use this meter here to do that. The most important thing to note is that this is not waterproof beyond this line that's covered by your cap. So don't submerge the meter beyond this line. The first thing that you need to do is switch it on with the on-off button. And it should say that it's measuring in microsiemens, which means you're measuring conductivity. So to get a conductivity reading, you need to submerge this in the bucket, give it a swirl to shake out any bubbles, then wait for the reading to stop changing, so it will be going up and down when you first submerge it. Then press the hold button and you can remove it and obtain a reading. To switch to a temperature reading, you just press the temp button and the meter should now display degrees. If you press the hold button again, it will start measuring temperature actively. Do the exact same, place it in the bucket, swirl, wait for it to stop changing, press hold, and then remove. When you're done with this, just shake it dry, switch off, and replace the cap. Now we want to test phosphates and ammonia. They use very similar meters and it's a little more complicated. So just like with the bucket and syringe, we need to wash our test tubes. So we'll start with ammonia. And you want to fill this 3 times, swirl, and then pour out. Now we need to fill the test tube to the 10 ml line using our syringe. So just pipette water out of the bucket and then fill this to the 10 ml line. Now we need to calibrate our meter. So here's our ammonia meter. You just switch it on with this black button and it should display add C.1. So this is showing the calibration screen. To calibrate, we need to open. Then we need to wipe our test tube with a cloth or paper towel to make sure that there's no smudges on the outside, because this machine is going to try and pass light through the test tube. Then place inside the meter, cap, and press the black button. Now this should be showing 3 dashes, and when it's done you'll get C.2, which shows that it's ready for testing. So the machine is now displaying add C.2, which means it's ready to test. We need to uncap, remove our test tube, and then add the reagent. So there are 2 bottles. One of them says B at the end of this number and the other one says A. We need to begin by adding 4 drops of A. So just add 4 drops of reagent A. Then cap the tube and gently swirl or invert. Then 4 drops of reagent B. It's really useful if you get your partner to help you out with these steps. And again, cap and invert or swirl. Now it's ready for testing, so just like with the calibration, place inside the machine, close the lid, but this time you need to press and hold this button until a timer starts. The timer should say 3 minutes 30, and when that's done, you'll have a reading that you can enter into the app. Phosphate is an almost identical test. Again, we need to clean our test tube 3 times with the water from your bucket. And again, wipe the side dry, and we need to pipette 10 mils of water into this. Your phosphate meter is really similar to the ammonia meter. If you press the black button, it should say add C.1, showing that it needs calibrating. So do the exact same, remove the cap, place your tube inside, close, and then press, and it should begin calibration. Now calibration is done, the machine's showing C.2, showing that it's ready for testing. So now we need to add the reagent. The phosphate checker requires a powder instead of a dropper. So for this one, we need to make sure that all the powder is pushed to one side. Then use your scissors. This part is quite difficult to do on your own, so I would definitely recommend getting a partner to help you. Okay, so I've created a funnel, and then I need to tip the reagent into our test tube. Then for this part of the test, we recommend that you set a timer for 2 minutes and then mix until the reagent is completely dissolved. Once all your powder has dissolved, you need to wait for the bubbles to settle before you place it in the phosphate checker for testing. So again, like the ammonia checker, you need to close the lid and hold the black button until a timer displays. The phosphate checker will display 3 minutes, and once that's done, enter the results into your app. It's really important that you dispose of your reagents correctly because they can be hazardous to the environment. So once you're done with your test, press the black button to turn the checker off. Then we need to remove the reagent and dispose of it by placing some tissue paper in a plastic bag. Then carefully pour the contents of the tube onto the tissue paper. Once you've done that, you can rinse the tube once by filling it with the pipette. And then do the same again, so cap, swirl it, and carefully pour into the bag. You need to do this for both your ammonia and phosphate tests. You can also dispose of any waste, so your phosphate packet can go in here, and you need to take this bag home with you and make sure that it's going into a general waste bin that's going to landfill or for incineration. Do not put this in the compost or anything like that. Just make sure that it gets disposed of correctly. Once you finish disposing of your reagents, you can remove your gloves by pulling them off at the wrist so that they come off inside out, and then placing them inside the bag. Then seal the bag, take it home with you and place it in a general waste bin going to landfill.
When you get back home, wash your wellies and any clothes that have been in contact with river water. Rinse the tubes, the white bucket and the syringe in tap water and leave them to air dry. And remember to wash your hands. So hopefully that's everything you need to know to do the water quality testing. We hope you enjoy it and thank you for being part of our team to find out more about river health. If you have any questions or comments, please get in touch with us on the email address on the next screen. Thank you so much for your help.